All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the women's qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. This was a match between Kiana James, Charlotte Flair, and Nia Jax. Really, let's just cover this real quick. The power of Kiana James is incredible. She made it look easy too. She lifted Nia Jax up for a Samoan drop, and it wasn't the struggle, the oh my gosh, can I do it kind of struggle to lift up Nia Jax that you usually see. She made it look easy, and she went on and put her down. That was a amazing feat of strength by Kiana James. It's just going to add to Kiana James' character. It's going to give her something that fans can actually kind of look forward to. Is what's the next power move she's going to do? She already has proven that she can talk. And that's only going to get better. So kudos to Kiana James on that. So basically, we get to the final portion of the match, and you get Kiana James surprising Charlotte Flair because Charlotte had a figure eight leg lock trying to submit Nia Jax, and Kiana James got back into the ring, slipped under the bridge that Charlotte uses for her figure eight leg lock, and done what looks similar to a crucifix pin to get an upset win against Charlotte Flair. This was surprising because even the fans, were cheering it up. They were really surprised that was the outcome. So Kiana James became the fifth entrant in the women's chamber, and from that point, it updated the lineup to Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Asuka, and of course Kiana James. So and then we'll talk about when we talk about Raw, we'll talk about who that fifth or sixth and final entrant is in that match. All right, so there was a brief backstage segment that happened between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, talking about Kiana James' upset victory. They were impressed. They gave some high praise for that. Um, Io, though, for her part in her match, made it clear that Julia is not going to have the same fortune in terms of coming away with a win, and Rhea was confident that Io will defeat Julia in her own qualifier match and secure her own spot in the Elimination Chamber. That's what Rhea does as a friend, for Io. So, we hear about that and see um, what's next when it comes to that. All right, so the next thing we're going to go ahead and cover is the aforementioned Julia having this match against Rhea Ripley. All right, so one thing I want to go ahead and mention um, before we get into it, Julia is from Japan. Okay, she wrestled in Japan for Stardom and a few other promotions over there, and she's well established over there. And coming to WWE, fans that don't watch Japanese promotions don't know, what they're actually getting when they see Julia have her match. So as the Women's United States Champion, the people are thinking to themselves, well, why is she champion? It's kind of what happens when you don't know about a particular wrestler and don't have a lot of meat in a story, when it comes to a particular talent, such as Julia. All right, so that out the way. Julia and Rhea Ripley embark in a non-title match, um, and this match was pretty good in my opinion. You see different spots that made it look like Julia was going to go ahead and get the win. you got one of the big spots, in my opinion, that unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, happened during a commercial break, where Rhea was in a bad way down on the ground in a stretch position, both arms behind Rhea Ripley, while Julia's on top, stretching her out, and almost in a surfboard position. And Julia, showing off her strong style, reared back and forced Rhea Ripley's head into the mat. And man, oh man, such a critical moment in that match, I think, because uh, Rhea Ripley was down and out there. You know, she was out for a minute. I mean, she went limp. You know, so we think that there's going to be a finish coming up soon, not long after that, and essentially the Irresistible Forces, who is Nia Jax and Lash Legend, come into the ring and interfere, leading to uh, Io Sky emerging to even the odds, you know, so that her tag team partner doesn't get the wrath of the Irresistible Forces. Um, so we're looking at either a potential tag team championship match with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky being the champions, defending against the Irresistible Forces, or hey, even a multi-women feud, you know, to battle for the championship belts. We could see Nia Jax in there, or we could see Lash Legend in there, you know. So a multi-layer kind of story that's building here, you know, it's worth seeing, worth checking out. Um, of course, with the interference, the match ended in just in no contest. The match was called out by the ref. Um, Our next thing that we're going to go ahead and talk about is the main event of SmackDown. So, the main event saw Randy Orton face off against Aleister Black. And we know that there's been this kind of build up between Randy Orton and Aleister Black. Essentially, Aleister Black teasing that there's a version of Randy Orton that will throw a punt, you know, to end the match, or you know, really, you know, make it a point, you know, that he is truly that Viper, you know, that apex predator, you know. So um, this match was pretty good. You had some high spots. One of the memorable spots that stood out to me was when Randy Orton had Aleister Black in the ropes for his normal, what Michael Cole likes to call vintage Orton, which is that draping DDT that he likes to does. But this time there was a twist, you know. So uh, Randy Orton yelled out, "Whoop that trick!" before he dropped him down on his head, you know, this time. So a little shout out to Trick Williams there. Um, this match was thrown out ultimately though because lo and behold, we talked about him earlier. Drew McIntyre interfered. He hit Randy Orton with the championship belt while the referee was not looking. So when that happened, Aleister Black took advantage with the Black Mass and got a pin on Randy Orton, which to me is a big win, especially in the main event spot of SmackDown. That's a big win for Aleister Black. So it's a way to get some credibility to Aleister Black, and it's also a way to add some layers to what's going on in the WWE Championship picture. Um, and again, this is proof that he doesn't have to have a match to dominate. You know, that's more so what we're seeing as well. Um, Orton though is going to be a participant in the Elimination Chamber for the 10th time here. You know, so this is a veteran in this match. No one has had as many Elimination Chamber appearances than Randy Orton. He's still competing at a high level, and really, you know, this was going to go down as a great match. That Randy Orton was able to have with Aleister Black until Drew McIntyre, did what he did with the belt, on Randy Orton's head. So some will easily say, that one of the dark horse competitors here in the Elimination Chamber match will be Randy Orton due to his experience, due to his ability to really still perform at a high level as well. So, um, one thing that we did see after the shot to the head from Drew to Randy, though, was Cody running out to help Randy Orton. He was a little too late in doing so, though, because Drew McIntyre got away. And this friendship, there's been a lot of history. The legacy, is one of the bigger storylines in Cody Rhodes' early career, because he was being positioned as what's next, due to their lineage, their family lineage, with the members all being second or third generation stars, so it was just some genuine, storytelling here between two friends that have been together for years, especially early in the formative years of Cody Rhodes' career with Randy Orton being there, so um, Cody Rhodes has to really start thinking, though, okay, this is the Viper, this is someone that used to have fun kicking people's head off, so can Cody really trust even his friend and Randy Orton during this Elimination Chamber match? That's the question. Everyone is a threat in this match. When it comes to that, friendships can go to the side and even end, in this type of match. So we'll have to see how that goes. In other news of that particular episode of SmackDown, you saw Tama Tonga beat Ilya Dragunov with that cutthroat elbow that he does, especially when the MFTs came out and interfered, preventing Dragunov from really getting upper hand. So after the match, you had Dragunov get beat down by the MFTs. I mean, and he was it's basically 5 against 1 in that situation. You even saw Ilya Dragunov try to go ahead and jump on the back of Solo Sikoa, while Solo Sikoa was talking trash. But that heart that Ilya Dragunov showed was overcome by the numbers game here. The next thing that we want to go ahead and talk about, this is a high point for me during this match, was Obafemi having a match against Kit Wilson. The pre-match poetry that Kit Wilson had for Oba to try to kind of soften Obafemi was very comedic. I mean, it was funny. It was even an opportunity for Obafemi to show some depth to his character, because there was one point where Kit Wilson called Obafemi a cuddly teddy bear, and Obafemi, looked at Kit Wilson and said, "Aw," just like that, So uh, all of that came to an end, though, when Obafemi goaded um, Kit Wilson into reading another poem, which try as he might, Kit Wilson was like, "No, I only had one prepared. I didn't really have another one." But Obafemi insisted that Kit Wilson read another one of these poems, which he did, and yeah, we saw Obafemi dominate, because that poem wasn't so great. It wasn't so friendly, So um, he dominated Kit Wilson, got the win with the Fall from Grace power bomb, and now we're left to wonder: Is Oba going to sign with SmackDown or is he going to sign with Raw? We still don't know yet. After this match, um, Tiffany Stratton had a brief match with Alba Fire. Um, One thing I want to go ahead and say about Tiffany Stratton, uh, there's something a little off about her presentation or just about her character work. She doesn't. She's not as believable as a former WWE Women's Champion. Um, but she's gonna go ahead and keep her momentum building up while she has her spot in the Elimination Chamber. So maybe more of that championship version of Tiffany Stratton will come out. Um, this episode of SmackDown saw plenty of interference finishes. Um, so we'll have to wait until next Friday to find out. Okay, how are things going to settle? For Elimination Chamber for that go home show. We'll see how that plays out.